Welcome back to the Artefactors Union. I am your enigmatic and, dare I say, gorgeous host, Douglas Scoundrels. Today we are assembling stuff. It's another prizes and alts medley. Let's get started on our 6 minis. First mini of the day is Summertooth Jones, the vintage version, with a card from 2nd edition, so let's ignore that card. Here is our sprue. This is, again, vintage. Summer, I believe this is either his first or one of his first sculpts from 1st edition, just in plastic now. We will assemble it like we normally do, so the 2 halves of the body, do the head. I think this is incorporated in the head somehow. Both parts of the hat, do the feet after that, and then the arms and boomstick, followed by the big old muzzle of the boomstick. Okay, here's the 2 halves of the body connected, and yep, let me get the name upright. Next bit is going to be that one. You can kind of see how the connection points line up, kind of like that. There it is, nice seam. Now let's look at our next few bits. I'm going to stack our head on top of that, the hat brim on top of the head, and then the top part of the hat. After that we'll do feet and stuff. And there's Summer's beautiful face. Now as far as the top of the head goes, you can see that's a dent. The hat brim has an innie and an outie, so the outie will go on top of the head, and then the rest of the hat will connect to the innie part. There's our hat brim. You can see now the innie is exposed to us, so do the top of the hat. And our hat is done. Now, as far as the feet, you can see the 2 holes where the feet get jammed into. Let's go ahead and just designate all of our next connections. So, our right foot is this guy, the one without the shoe. Left foot is this guy with the shoe. Then we're going to do our left arm, which will connect to both the shoulder and part of the body. Then our right arm with the boomstick, and then finish off by putting the muzzle of the boomstick on. Okay, our right foot is in. That's its angle. Now let's do the left one. And our left foot is done. Just squish him onto the ground. He's a bit back heavy, so he can't stand on his own. However, you want both of those feet to be flat on the ground. So let's do our left arm next. Obviously, it'll glue in here, but I believe it also has some connection down here. Yep, there's the left arm in that pocket there. It was a part of the bit, so he does pretty much cover the entire left side with that arm bit. Now let's do the right arm. It should also connect to the left, obviously. Also, like, the entire front right side of his coat is a connection point, so you have plenty of places to glue. There he all is. Now just add the muzzle. There is a lens on it. You can see the bottom here. That's the lens. That'll be facing up. Okey-doke. All done. Let's get him on base. Vintage Summertooth Jones is done. Pretty model. Not a whole ton of difficulty. Really nothing. I think the difficulty is just making sure you don't snap the feathers in his hat, the side on his gun, or the strap on the gun as well, because those are pretty thin and fragile. Just be careful with those, and the rest of it should be pretty quick and easy. All right, let's move on to... We'll figure out what's next. Our next alt model is going to be Misstep. This is a sprue. Our card, this particular one came with the 2nd edition one too, but don't need any of those cards to assemble her. This is what we're looking at here. A lot of small pieces for a fairly big model, which is never great for assembly, but we'll make it work. Grabbing the body and do your usual work from the bottom up. So we'll do the 4 legs, and then we will attach... yeah, we'll do the big claw arm first, and then the tube that attaches to it and her backside. And then I think... yeah, we'll do the arm and see if this guy can go in after the arm is in, and if not, then we'll rip it off glue this to the arm, and then glue the arm and the tube to the body. We'll see which one works better, and then we will do the head and the two different pieces coming off the head at the end. Okay, let's go ahead and clip out our body first, and I'll figure out where our legs go. Okay, following the instructions, the legs with the tubes on them are opposite each other, and I'm relatively certain the one that is sticking out further is going to be our front left leg, and this is going to be our back right leg, and if not, then they're switched. I'm pretty certain this is our front right leg, and this is our back left leg, so let's do the tube legs first. Yeah, and I'll let you know if the order is correct. So right now we're thinking front left leg, back right leg. Right, I was correct. So this is our front right leg. It's our front left leg. Now let's do the back right one. The nice thing about this one is it actually has a tooth that slots into the body of the model, whereas opposed to the front left leg, it was just a bunch of flat sides. So this will be easier. There we go. Okay. Now let's do our front right leg, which is going to be this guy, and our back left leg is this one. Okay, front right leg, and now let's do the back. And our back left leg. This one will not actually be touching the ground if you set her down upright. There we go. Okay, let's get started on our arms. Let's just do our left arm fully and then our right arm fully, okay? So we're going to want the big claw hand, this one, and then the double tube, which is this guy. Real quick before, this is our arm before, and there we go. Just pay attention to the elbow. It is just a big ball, so if there's any gaps, squish them into place. But now for our tubing, and it's really hard to see, but on the elbow, about right there, is a connection point for the thinner part of the tubing, where it kind of morphs into one tube. The split will come and attach right there on the back. You can also just barely see the connection point there, but I'll glue it first, and then you'll know what I'm talking about. Alright, there you go. They are such tiny connection points that if you get close, no one's going to be able to tell. Just try to get them as like flat up against the model as you can, just so that more of it is connected to it and it doesn't fall off later. So let's go ahead and put our right arm in now. Okay, so there it is in place. It's got a really weird elbow, but I'm relatively certain that gap is supposed to be there, because the rest of it looks pretty good. Oh, there's that hole there. I'll see if I can fix that. But after that, our tube is going to connect back here on the back of the wrist, and actually it's going to connect just to the side of her body, like I believe right there. So I'll fix the arm and then get the tube in and show you what it looks like. Okay, there it is fixed. I actually ended up just taking the arm off and gluing the tube on to the back of the wrist first, which was the smart way to do it. And then it was easy to figure out where it's supposed to connect. You see that sort of panel on her waist. It sits right in the middle of that. So there you go. There's our right arm. And one of the few times I will recommend that tweezers are going to be a lot really helpful in this particular situation. So get yourself some precision tweezers that'll help with this model. Okay, let's get our head on. Shouldn't have to point out which bit the head is. And last reference from bits. This is going to be attached to the back of her head. You'll see right behind this part of the bit is a big old plug that'll just plug into the back of her head. The long part of it will be flowing out towards her right. And then this little tiny piece is going to go into her forehead. So we'll show you those two after we get the head on. Alright, here's our head. Now let's turn around. It's the big old hole, plugger, tube, cable, hair thing in there. Here it is in. I don't really have a good way of telling you how exactly it's supposed to be angled. I just went off the render on the back of the box or online, or you can find the render. But that looks good to me, really close to what she had from the front. And, oh goodness. Now let's go ahead and do her tiny little cable thing on her forehead. This is supposed to be going to her right. The connection point for this tiny bit is right there on her forehead. You can see the hole kind of Goodness. Edit this out. And here's our teeny tiny little bit. Our tiny little forehead cable was connected to the sprue by its connection point. You can sort of see the fraying of the cable down here is what's supposed to not be connected to the forehead. So this is what it's going to kind of go on the forehead like this. Yeah. Oh, good lord. Okay, that's in. Just get it to where it'll sit relatively correctly and call it good. It's so small and so fiddly. Stick it to the forehead and then nudge it into place as much as you can with something pokey. And I guess pray that we're done with her, thankfully. I hate this thing. Misstep. All done. Very much a pain with the tubes. All the tubes and wires and whatnot being very thin and hard to manage. We got it done. I just wish she was a little bit more detailed. She is a alt for the Howard Langston model, and I honestly think Howard Langston is a better model than this one, but that is my opinion. But this is one of the first alts the Weird came up with, so I'm not going to rag on them too much for pretty much a prototype. That being said, lots of care, get yourself some good tweezers, and I don't think anyone is really going to care if you lose the tubes or the cable on her head. But you should be fine. Anyways, let's move on to anything else. Ooh, okay. Palette cleanser. Alt Sargeant. Blah. Sargeant. Should be a little bit easier. Okay, here's our sprue. Pretty easy. Grab the body, put the leg on it, the other foot, the left arm, the right arm, and the head. Body, left leg, right foot, left arm, right arm, and a head. Gosh golly gee, that was so hard to get her on a base. Alt Guild Sargeant is done. I like her. No difficulty. The arms kind of went in slightly weirdly into the shoulders. Maybe I would trim them down a bit more if this was my model that I wanted to get perfect. But very quick assembly. Big lady. Let's move. Okay, our next prize / alt is going to be this guy, the He-Kome, a male Shikome. Plan words. Okay, let's get them out of the bag. Okay, this is what we're working with. We always start with the body, then we will add both legs, then add the claws, the extra claws onto the legs. Do the sort of wraps he's got going on. And then the head, yep. And then lastly, the wings, which is sort of an inner wing and an outer wing. So let's grab the body and both legs first. Here's our body. Now add our left leg, which is the longer of the two legs. There it is. Should just completely cover up the crotch. And then we'll do the left leg, which is the shorter of the two. And there is our left leg. Okay, let's work on the claws. Here are our two claws. You can tell which goes on which one because the connection points for both of these have a tooth that's in a different spot, and you just need to match that up with the spot on the back of the foot. However, I can also tell you that this is going on our left foot, the shorter one, our left leg and the shorter one, and this one is going on our right leg, the longer one. So that's going to be the back claws on the left foot. It took some trimming. There is some flash that isn't the connection tooth that is on actually both of these bits that you'll need to trim off if you want to have a nice flush seam. I trimmed this one off without showing it to you. It was covered in plastic cement anyway, so you wouldn't really been able to see it, but I left it on the claws for the right foot. Let me get it on my tweezers so I can hopefully show you. Yeah, so you can see the tooth on the top right here. Oops. And then there's this nice round circle that you need to trim out. That should not be there. There, the claws on his right foot. Okay, now we're going to work on all the stuff around his waist. Okay, we're going to start with these two bits. I believe this one is going on his right side, this one is going on his left side. Not really sure how this fits in there quite yet, but I'm pretty sure it's going to go last. So let's do these two first. I made a mistake. Well, I did guess right that this is going to be the thicker bit was going to be on the right side, the smaller bit is going to be on the left. We need to do the tail feathers before that, which go underneath all that. So this is kind of what we're looking for as far as the connection goes, like that. Okie doke, now we can do the chunky skirt on the right side. There we go. And there's a connection point on top of the tail feathers. Keep that in mind. Now let's do the left side. A little finagling to get it to sit right with the right side and the tail feathers, but yeah, there we go. Alright, well, let's put a head on him. Here is the head. Alright, let's figure out our wings. Our remaining bits, you can see where it connects to the shoulder. Right there and right there. So our right wings are going to be this one, and I believe this guy. Left wing is going to be this guy and this one. So let's just do them one at a time. So grab this guy, put him in, and then attach this to it. Before we add the right wing, grab the first part of the right wing and the second part of the right wing. Alright, let's do the left. Okay, here's the left wing, first part, and the last bit of our left wing. All done, put them on a base. He-Kome, the alt Shikome, is done. Difficulty was really trimming the back claws to get them to fit on correctly, and then understanding the tail feather is supposed to go under the skirt. Other than that, just being cautious with the wings, taking your time to glue them, and then figuring out how you're going to base them. That's about it. Not too difficult. Let's move. Ultimate model. Alright, let's go. Johanna. Another easy one. Extremely easy. Pull her out and let's look at her. Cool, she comes with a base. Neat. Okay, body, leg, arm, other arm, neck and head, and hair, and then base, I guess. Grab the body and the leg first. Johanna body. Johanna right leg, just squished right up against the left leg. Now, let's do Johanna... right arm? Yeah, right arm. Johanna right arm on Johanna right hip. Now Johanna left arm holding Johanna hammer. Now left arm, I forgot to show you Johanna back. There's Johanna back. Now Johanna neck and Johanna head. Johanna neck and Johanna head on Johanna body. Pay attention to that single strand of Johanna hair because it will just snap off pretty easily. Let's finish it up with Johanna's rest of hair. There's the hair. I apologize for that gap there. That was a trimming accident with my knife. But you could probably put this on before the left arm. Sorry, Johanna left arm. Which would be a little bit easier. But it wasn't hard at all to just slide it in there. But I'm done with Johanna. Put her on Johanna base. Yes, I know it's probably Johanna. I do that all the time with correcting people. I don't know why I got it stuck in my head to call her Johanna. Maybe because it was funnier to just spam the name constantly while building her. Easy model, just watch out for that one loose hair on her head, and maybe the ponytail, and then maybe the hammer. Just the thin bits is what you need to be concerned with. Other than that, pretty easy. Let's get to our last model. At our last alt model, the alt Doppelganger. I apologize, I forgot the bag. Or I threw it away, really. But here's our sprue. He's got both his legs. That's amazing. Great start. Grab the body. Then we're going to do the closest thing he has to, like, regular arms. So this one is his right arm, and this one is his left one that's connected up here. We're going to add this back piece as well as whichever one of these connects to it. And then we'll take this guy, add him to the other tentacle, as well as that tentacle, blah, and that bit. I'll figure out where all that goes. And I think that attaches the back, and maybe this is the last one. It's really going to depend on how it ends up building it, but we'll figure that out. Right now, let's go ahead and just clip them out and get the first 2 arms on there, okay? Here's our extremely naked mini. Let's do the right arm. There we go, good start. Now let's do our really weird clawy arm on the end of this stump. There we go, good start. Now let's do our really weird clawy arm on the end of this stump. There we go. He's got himself a left-ish arm. Okay, now we're going to work on the back. Okay, let's grab this piece, which is going to go on his lower back, and then attach this to it, which connects right there. Oh, before... There we go. Now I realize I was pointing at the wrong part. That tentacle we're going to attach next will go right there. There is our first lovely tentacle. Now, yeah, let's plan. Okay, until I realize I've done something wrong, we're going to attach this to the back next. We're going to clip this out and not attach it yet. We are going to attach this piece to it, and then this piece to that piece. And once those 3 are combined, we're going to attach it to the back, which I think it's the connection point is on this. Once all that's done, we do this guy last. Okay, let's give it a shot. Just a reminder, this is the piece that we're currently connecting, and it's going to go effectively right here. Yeah, you see that. Right there it is from the front, and this is what he looks like on the back. Now let's grab our big double tentacle piece. Okay, change of plans. Yeah, I said this might happen. So we're gonna actually go ahead and add the botanical piece onto the back now. It's gonna take a little bit of weaving, so I'll probably just do it on camera, but that's effectively kind of the threading you need to do. So this bottom tentacle needs to go in between here, and the top tentacle needs to wrap around and go over the top of this one with the mouth. Okay? Alright, got glue on. Let's do this on camera, where I can't even look in my own hands directly. So, actually, yeah, that's pretty good. So that's our connection. All different angles. Just a hot mess of tentacles. My favorite. I know y'all are into that. Okay, let's grab our, I guess, small piece. I can't really give you, like, specific directions. It's just going to jam right in there with... Oh, goodness. Yeah, kind of like that angle. I'll just do it. Okay. Yeah, that's awkward. But it actually went in pretty easily, especially... It'll be even easier for you, because you can see how it's supposed to go in there. So, I got my directions kind of messed up. So these guys are actually going to go right in here, the tentacle with a face, and then the singular tentacles are going to go in that big hole on the shoulder. So let's do these guys first, I guess. Yep, there we go. Actually looks pretty good. This is an absolute nightmare. Just aesthetically, it's terrifying. Okay, our last bit. Just jam it in that last hole. You need to sort of slide in and turn to get to fully fill that gap, but... Yeah, not too difficult. All right. Yeah, we're done with our alt doppelganger. Got him on a base. Dear Lord, this thing. It's pretty, and I almost wouldn't say it's a difficult build. Just, you really need the benefit of looking at it from the back, and the renders don't have that. I missed the second edition renders where they gave you the front and the back. Almost would just rather have the back render than the front render. That's maybe not the best way to sell the model, but it would be a lot easier for assembly. But now you know what it looks like. It is a hot mess of tentacles. It's so pretty. I love this model. And now that you've seen how it goes together, not that hard to put together. So let's look at all of them and call it a night. We are done with this round of alt models. We have Vintage Summerteeth Jones, Misstep, Alt Guild Sargeant, He-Kome, Johana, and the Alt Doppelganger. Most of that difficulty was in the Misstep and Doppelganger minis. He-Kome had some trouble with trimming the bits and had a few small pieces, but those other 3 pretty easy. Don't think you're going to have too much of a hard time. Maybe Summer's like feather or the sight on his gun. Just be careful. Don't snap those off. But Yeah, I think that's about it. All I have to say for these models. Best of luck assembling them. I have been your foreman, Douglas Scoundrels, helping you build a better Malifaux. Good night.